Welcome to Gaia Dairy Farming Insights, the infotainment podcast for the Dairy Farming Network. Join our community that takes you on a journey through the vastness of milk production, your source of knowledge and inspiration in every episode.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of our Dairy Farming Insights podcast. Today we will be talking about conventional milking systems and which exciting developments happen there and how conventional milking can support sustainable dairy farming. I am welcoming my colleague Dr. Susanne Klimpel here. Susanne is Head of Product Line Management Conventional Milking Systems. Hello, Susanne. Nice to have you here.
Hello, Maren. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very, very much excited about this.
Tell the audience a little bit about your history in GEA and your background.
So by education, I'm a veterinarian, and after my studies and my PhD, I started as a practicing veterinarian. And after almost 10 years, I started working at GEA in different roles in product management, always focusing on animal health, which is like udder health, hoof health, animal welfare, animal behavior, etc. And since another 8 years now, I'm leading different departments within the GEA organization with the focus on product management.
So really the topic of animal welfare, good cow health and good milk quality has always really been a hot topic you've been dealing with in all your career. What would you say from a starting point? How can we ensure a high milk yield now and in the future when you think of really the developments in conventional milking?
So looking at what has been going on for the last couple of years and where do I see the trends, I think more than ever we have to focus on cow longevity. Really, what can we do that our animals stay longer on farm and that they lead a life with a high cow welfare? I think that's the main topic. We can see them as top athletes. So in order to perform, they need optimum housing, optimum feeding, and optimum milking to really perform to their genetics and what's inside them to really be able to produce what they are able to. I think this is a trend that we have been seeing, and there we need to focus more, even now with the focus on sustainability. Because looking at a cow and her, we can call it like return on investment. The first 2 years is like we fully invest in a cow until she gets like her first calf. Then she starts to more or less pay her money back. And we have to have this cow as long as possible so that the farmer can make a profitable living on the farm. I think that's the crucial point.
What really are the key aspects that need to be taken care of to really guarantee good quality milking and good cow health?
Yeah, so for us, per definition, like the conventional milking is characterized by manual attachment of the cluster. So that's how we see conventional milking. And what is the crucial point there is like really a proper prep procedure for the cow. Because we know that, and there has been like a lot of studies around this, like what happens when the cow is properly prepped and the oxytocin gets enough time to arrive at the udder to really like ensure proper milking. And this is, I think, a very crucial point. I still do see quite often milking procedures which leave room for improvement, which lead to the fact that the cow, when she's not properly prepped, has got a bimodality in her milking, which leads to eventually bad teat health, longer machine on time, and really puts a risk on her udder health. I think it's just as simple as this. So investing like more time in a proper prep procedure, including prep lag time, so really waiting for the oxytocin to arrive, that's a crucial point to have like a proper milk let out.
I would see a challenge here. You're talking about the preparation time and really the time that good milking also requires. But on the other hand, of course, the milking time is supposed to become shorter and more effective and efficient. So are there any other solutions that support quicker milking while, of course, making sure preparation is done properly?
Yeah, I think there are already automatized processes out for proper stimulation, like steamer pulls. And there are automation steps within the milking processes like automatic pre-dipping or prepping and automatic post-dipping. So this has already been established in order to shorten the time. I think the crucial point is here really what you invest before the milk let down, you can save during milking time. So your milking time in total, your machine on time will be shorter. So that's a crucial point.
So you just mentioned individual steps which are already automized, of course, to save time, to become more efficient, to become more standardized. Yeah, in total, how do you see the future of conventional milking really in times of automation and digitalization? How do you see the long-term development here, and what are you also working on?
So looking at what has happened in the last decades, I think there are a lot of things that have already happened and which are standard now, which nobody did foresee like 20, 30 years ago. For example, automatic cluster removal, that's a standard. So nobody is really talking about this anymore. And I remember when I was studying, so this was not a general approach everywhere. So we do see more and more steps in automation in really to make sure or to allow the so-called one-person milking approach, so that we have one operator who is running, let's, for example, like a rotary with an automatic pre-spraying process, then manual attachment, automatic stimulation, and then automatic post-tip. So that's something that we see quite often, and that is getting more and more important. And this is like a trend that we have to ensure with further steps in automation. Another thing that we do see more and more sensors and possibilities on the cow and in the machine to monitor udder health, to monitor her condition in general, to monitor her behavior, to monitor her productivity, etc. So this is getting more and more important because farmers are looking for more data, not only data, but information on their animals to derive their farm management decision from this. So this is something that we see more and more. And now with AI, rapid development.
AI, if you are, just a side remark to our listeners, if you are interested in the AI topic, you may also listen to another podcast episode with our colleague Terry that is already available. So for any interest, just take a look there. But Susanne, you spoke about increasing labor productivity as a main challenge, of course, for dairy farmers, amongst other things. How does that really fit in now with the topic of having a pleasant workplace, offering such a workplace to also find new staff?
I think that's a very important topic because we hear it like from all over the world that labor availability is really an issue. And what we have seen whenever we went on farms and applied new technology, the workers, the milker and the owners, they are proud of their new workplace. It's a pleasant workplace that we can offer with the technology for the cow and for the human. That's a very, very important point. For example, we do have lifting floors. Not everybody is like the same height. So that's a very important point in order to allow like proper cluster attachment. We do have support arms which lower the weight that a milker has to lift during milking, and the cluster is presented in a way that it's like easy to attach. So these are only a couple of examples of what makes the difference, apart from easy access to the animal, a quiet environment, good air, good light, etc., etc. But this is not only important for the milker, this is as well important for the cow, because if she doesn't find her milking place attractive and comfortable, then she will not like to go there and she will be hesitant to let her milk down. So that's same important, and that's a very high focus of us when we look at developing machines, the cow comfort during the milking time.
We see there's a lot ongoing in the area of development of conventional milking systems. Now you've also just lately been to some farms who are really using latest technology from GEA. What has been their reasons to decide for a conventional rotary, and what feedback have you lately collected there?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. So I've been to two of our farmers who are using our latest dairy rotor T8600, and they both have moved from a conventional milking parlor into a rotary. So they are able to use the latest technology, our new milking point controller and DairyNet. What was very surprising about this visit was that both of them mentioned more or less the same reasons why they decided for this technology and for a rotary. So for them, one major driver was that they do know when milking starts and when milking ends. When they are done with evening milking, they close the door and they do have free time and they don't get any emergency calls at night. So that was a very, very important point for them. Another point was that they both were aiming for the one-person milking approach. And these are both family farms. And they do have some support from hired labor as well. And what we have seen there is like the milker that was hired was really proud and enjoying the new workplace and the improvement in ergonomics. And as said before, this is an important point to really attract people who want to work on your farm and then who stay longer on your farm, because education is a very important point. And once you have somebody educated, you would like them to stay longer on the farm. And another third point that they both mentioned was the flexibility to grow their herd. So they are not dependent on stepwise growth, like 50 or 60 animal, in order to fill the system. So they can grow from 1 to 50 to 100 animal with the installation that they currently have. And this allows them more flexibility in managing their herd. And on top of this, like with the new herd management program, they do have access to much more data, very convenient at a glance. And that's very important for them to support their decision making.
And I suppose the next generation coming on those farms is, of course, also stepping into exactly these working modes and supporting this approach.
That's a good point. So we do see in a lot of farms that they are looking already towards like their legacy. What do we want to offer our children and the next generation on our farms? Which kind of technology, which kind of system would we like to have in place in order to encourage them to continue farming? That's a very important point, the legacy. And we do see pride quite often. Like when somebody builds a new barn, a new shed, a new milking house, you can see that there's a lot of pride involved as well, which is very nice to see.
You really mentioned lots of different reasons that make the decision or support the decision to invest into a conventional milking parlor, and how this technology also supports sustainable dairy farming on the way forward. How do you see the future and the mid or long-term trends in conventional milking?
I do see adding more automation or adding more steps in automation whenever possible. I think this is something that is going to continue. Ergonomics play a very big role. So for example, in France, there have been subsidies for exoskeletons. So really making sure that you have an ergonomic workplace, which does allow you to stay healthy as well, not to suffer from any injuries on the arms, on the legs, etc. I think that's very important. We have to make sure that this is getting even better. What we do see the herds growing still, and that is going to continue. So that'll lead to the fact that less people are going to take care of more cows, so more cows per herd manager. So therefore, the need for digitalization, data analysis, AI, that is going to grow in all our herds, including conventional milking systems. That is the clear trend that I do see.
Exciting developments and even a long-term outlook into new technology, which is pouring in all areas of milking, but specifically also in conventional milking systems. Susanne, it was really a pleasure to get some overarching insights into trends, developments, and decision processes which are also taking place. And we see that there is really a bright future and many developments also in the conventional area. So we're looking forward to having you again here, perhaps in some time, and see where we are. So thank you very much, Susanne, for all your insights.
Thank you, Maren. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, listening to the audience.
Follow us on our social media platforms to stay updated, and subscribe to our podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. If you have questions, suggestions, or even ideas for future topics, feel free to reach out. Join us soon for another exciting episode as we continue to explore the world of farming and the people behind it. Until then, keep farming and growing.